Alright guys, we try this again. Third time. Trying. People keep calling my phone. The after effect of after being done with that school, like I said before, they kept changing my appointment date for the second DMV test. I passed on the second DMV test, as you could see prior to this video. I know I mentioned in one of my videos that I don't know, it's kind of difficult, guys, because it's kind of difficult to say because well, one of my videos I said that I was trained to not have to cock the trailer back. So that was on, like I said in the prior video, that was on the schooling. The guy I had for that one though, the DMV, instructor or inspector, whatever you want to call him, he's very strict. So when I went the second time, I actually got a female, and like last time the guy was telling me you have to have the even amount of cones, the even amount of space from the cones on the from the cones in the trailer on both sides. It should be as even as possible. When I had the girl, she didn't do that. She's like, as long as she told me the same thing the school told me. She's like, as long as you get it in there without going out of bounds and without hitting any cones, you're good. Basically the same thing the school told me. So I guess it just depends on, the instructor at the DMV that you get. But for sure, make sure you guys flip your tractor back in front of the trailer. That's one thing that doesn't change anywhere, because I talked to a lot of truck drivers after that. The after effect though, I decided I'm not going to end up going with Swift just because I couldn't afford it. They're only offering, like I stated before, $500 flat. I reached out to them and see if they would even be willing to up it to at least $7,000. So that way I could end up leaving my family and being the one that paying all the bills and stuff. And there was no way possible. The one thing that did kind of rub me the wrong way though is, like, I was asking for an explanation on the breakdown of why the school was so high. Really still didn't even really get an answer. The other issue that I asked about was I felt like we should have got some kind of discount off the price because of the fact it was not disclosed anywhere in the paper prior to coming, nor while we got there. It was disclosed on, I want to say, the second day. And everybody flipped out. It was either it was closed on the second or the third day, and everybody flipped out because we all basically said at the same time. None of us were told we were only doing train automatics, because we all were freaking out, because we were like, well, that's going to be a restriction on our license if we stay and do this. I want to say one or two, I know for a fact one person left. I want to say there was 2 people that left after that was announced. Or it wasn't even announced though, guys. Like, one of the students mentioned it because he was excited about driving a stick, and then that's when it came out that we're not going to be driving a stick. And then our head instructor had to contact his boss to let him know, hey, none of my students in my class were informed at all that they would only be trained on automatics. It wasn't stated, like I said, none of the paperwork, it wasn't nowhere. So then he came out his mouth and said his boss told him that he's sending an email out to everybody as far as the recruiters and the other people in the office and stuff. And he told us that his boss told him that he's making sure that his recruiters are now going to tell people for the next, for as far as the next class that comes in after us, that they will know that it's only going to be trained on automatics, and that it's going to be added to the paperwork that the recruiter sent out. So one student was walking out, and then one of the instructors said that's not going to be the price, because he's like, the student flat out said $6,000 is way too much to only be trained on automatics. And then our instructor said that's not going to be the price. So I'm sitting there like, okay, cool, that's not going to be the price. And now mind you, I drove 8 hours. So I was like, I'm not going to get in my car, turn around, drive 8 hours and leave with a permit in my hand. I need to have a license. So I was like, I'm going to stay out here and get this license and go from there. I didn't realize how hard it was going to be in my city and state that I live in to get a job, because a lot of these ones in this local, the area that I live in is very small, and they don't have automatic trucks yet, because a lot of them are family owned and stuff, so they don't have automatic. So kind of put me in a tight spot. But like I said, the one thing that did rub me the wrong way was when I asked about the discount on it, since we were only being trained on automatics and we weren't you know, it wasn't disclosed in any other paperwork that we would only be training automatics. The lady replied, and I quote, we cannot give discounts just because you were not satisfied with the equipment you were trained on. It's not that I wasn't satisfied with the equipment that I was trained on. The equipment I thought was real nice, and it was nice and everything. It's the fact that you guys didn't disclose or have it written in any paperwork saying students will only be trained on automatics. And then I actually talked to somebody else. Well, I talked to one person, and then this one guy added like 8 people to it. So I was dealing with like 8 people instead of just one person. So, and then one guy said something. I forgot. I done blinked. It was in my head too. Sorry. The other thing I don't like, they will hold your certificate where it says like your name, Megan completed, I think it's like 160 or 170 hours of CDL school. They're holding that until they get their full price, the tuition price. So, and the explanation I got from it, they said that the reason they hold it, he's like, unlike other schools, we don't charge interest rate, and we don't charge full price upfront or before you graduate. And he said that's the reason why we hold it until we get the tuition. So that's another issue I came into when I was trying to get a job, because one of the jobs up here that was considering hiring me, he actually needed that, and they wouldn't give it to me because of, you know, the full price thing. I don't know, towards the end I just had a lot of red flags or whatever. I even spoke to the 8 people that were in the group message, and I said, okay guys, give me till Friday to give you an answer. I'm going to try to see if I can make some things work, to see if I can even possibly do the 500 flat a week. Then that's when my recruiter hit me back. He hit me back Friday morning. He was saying, you know, Megan, I tried to reach out to you multiple times. If I still don't hear back from you, and have a set date on if you're coming back or not, we're going to bill you for the full price, and it needs to be paid up front. If not, we will send collections after you, blah blah blah. And I'm sitting there, I'm taken back because it's like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, you don't have nothing to do with the tuition stuff. And when I talked to the other people that are in charge of that, in the group message, it said, I will get back to you guys on Friday, and I put the date, and that today was that day. So I emailed her and let her know that unfortunately I won't be able to come back. Go ahead and set me up. And then my recruiter kept on insisting. I was like, just go ahead and set me up for my tuition monthly fee. He's like, okay, well, I need you to sign all your signing paper, or all your hiring paper. I said, why would I sign hiring papers if I'm not coming to work for you guys? I said, I'm not understanding. Maybe he missed. I said, that's what I told him. I said, well, maybe you misunderstood what I said, you know, what I wrote or whatever. But, and then he was like, okay, well, yeah. And then he said the lady's name. I'm not gonna put her name out there. She said her name, the lady's name. He's like, she will be contacting you soon. I was like, okay. So, because he was trying to get me on, because then out of nowhere he told me, well, there's a $1,000 transition bonus, that you'll get $1,000 bonus to, you know, since you're from out of state, to come up here. He's like, that should help you out, right? And I'm sitting there like, well, bonuses, they're taxable, so you're looking at only getting maybe $500 to $700 instead of $1,000. And I said, and I'm thinking to myself, I said, that wouldn't even work anyways, because if I do that for the first month, and then the following month, I won't be getting that much. You know, I'll still be in the same situation. So that's when I went ahead and told him, I said, just have them bill me the $150 a month, and I'll pay that. It just became too much of a headache. Like I said, I still feel like that school was a good school. I'm iffy on the price, but you guys, there's a lot of companies that actually offer tuition reimbursements where, from my understanding, if you go to the company, you'll have to sign a contract saying you'll stay with the company for, you know, X amount of days or X amount of years. more likely it's like a year. And like the lowest one I saw was, I think, like a $2,400 reimbursement toward your school. The highest one I saw was $5,000, which would have been perfect for me anyways, because then I would have only owed $1,750. But like I said, it was over the road. Like I said, it's a great school. There's just a lot of confusion out there just for the fact, and a lot of stuff's not being told before the students get out there, or is not being disclosed. And I think part of that is because a lot of them are new. They even stated they all just started in March and April. So they're trying to figure everything out, because people prior that were there prior before them ended up leaving or getting fired from what we were told. So like I said, I wasn't trying to come off snotty to the company, because like I said, I felt like it was a great opportunity. But guys, just make sure you do your research. Make sure, one thing I will say, and I stress, make sure that before you go, that you look around for jobs to see if they will hire you right out of school, out of graduate school. Make sure that they offer automatics. Also try to get your triples and doubles and hazmats if you can before you get out of school, so that way you're ready and you're not waiting. Some jobs will let you hire you, but you have to obtain it within 30 days. I think that would be a little harder while you're trying to train for the job. Then you have to go home and try to study, because a lot of truck driver jobs are like 12 hours. Excuse me, I'm getting sick, I think. But that's it. I think I talked about the DMV instructor first. I don't know if I did. The first guy, he was very strict. He was telling me that you have to have equal amount of space from the cone and the trailer to pass. And then when I went down the second time, I passed, but I got a different lady, and I was asking her, like, how does she want me to do this? And I was like, have to be equal amount of space. She's like, no. She's like, as long as you get it in there, you don't go out of balance, and you don't hit no cones, you're good. So that's the same way we were trained at the school. The one thing we weren't trained really at the school was to flip your tractor back around. You can't leave it cocked to the side. In that state where I was trained at, though, that state allows you, but since I'm in a different state, each state has different requirements. So in my state, you can't leave it cocked to the side. You have to have it turned back around and line back up with your trailer. I talked to a lot of truck drivers. They said the same thing. They said in the real world, you can't do that anyways. You have to have it, follow it back and get in front of it. The lady at DMV was nice. She wasn't as strict. That time I went down, I did have the full, I got like section D, which is the full trailer. Started on the hood, or outside the hood, got to the hood part, then we went to the coping part, then we went to the door part, which kind of threw me off because I'm used to going in order. And then we went to the beginning of the trailer part. We didn't even get to the back of the trailer because ours runs on point system, so I named pretty much everything. And then she stopped me because she's like, that's it, we don't have to go no further, you passed. And we did the backing after that, and then we did the road test. So yeah, do some research before you go down. Make sure you do some research on jobs, probably put in some applications, talk to a few companies and let them know, like, hey, you're going into school. Some companies actually offer schooling. Like, I just got accepted to a job. I start Monday. Come to find out, they actually have a school out there. They have a school out there. They pay you to go to school. I think he said they give you like $300. I don't know if it's a week. I'm pretty sure it's probably a week, because I don't think they'd give you $300 a day. Give you $300 a week, and then they also pay for your food. Now, with my school, we didn't get no allowance, and we didn't get no food money. So, yeah. And then with that one, after you go with their school, they offer you to, if you want to come to the company, you can work there. And it's a great company, I feel, but I'll know more about that once I actually get down there and do some work. But that's the update. Like I said, I'm gonna load both of these up. I got the first one when I went down on the 19th, and I passed my license. So I'm gonna upload that one because I think there's a little bit of information in there that will kind of help some other people out. That's it, guys. I think I'm done uploading about the academy and about the After Effects. And I don't know I think I stated in this one, it might have been on the one in the video that got cut off. The school, yeah, I think I stated in this one, but whatever. The school holds your your graduation certificate, the one where it says this person worked or completed, I think it's like 160 to 170 hours of CDL school. They send you one, but it's not the, they upload one to your portal, but it's not the one that you need to get jobs. And from the email, and I showed it to my dad, and from what he said and how I took it, I took it the same way, because I was like, well, maybe I'm reading it wrong, or maybe I'm doing it. So I sent it to my dad, and he was like, it kind of seems like they're pretty much saying you can't, work anywhere else because we're gonna hold this until they get their money. So, I mean, once they explained it, I guess I understand it a little bit, but it's like, you still could get your money if you give me the certificate. You still can get your money, and if somebody isn't willing to pay, then you have collections. You go after them. You have all their stuff, all their information, where they live, their social, all that. So I don't feel like they should hold your certificate, because then that's making it hard for you to get a job, because like I said, a lot of places up here require that certificate to prove that you actually completed the school. So, and if you're paying $6,750, you shouldn't hold nothing of mine that I completed for your school. Shoot. But all right, guys, that's it. I gotta go do this P test, I guess. And like I said, if y'all got any questions, message me. I'll try to answer them the best I can. And y'all be safe.